Simplifying radicals practice. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a rational expression. I want you to convert it to we're going to convert it to radical form, and then we're going to see if we can break it down. So let's start with 15 to the 1/2 power. Is it warm in here now? I can turn the heat off. Hey, we're taking notes. Thank you. Alright, so since this is a rational expression, that means we need to convert it to a radical. So that means we're going to have our square root symbol. Where does 15 go? Inside. Good. Take a point. And then our 2, we put it in the mullet, but we don't have to put it in the mullet since we know the square root, so that's what it looks like. Now, is there a perfect square that divides into 15? That's our final answer. Ta-da. Yay. All right. What if I give you B and I say 24 to the 1/2 power? How would we write that?
Same way. 24.
Okay. So we'd write it as the square root of 24? And is there a perfect square that divides into 24?
No.
4. And that gives you 4 times 6. And then what's the square root of 4? So what goes outside to play? What stays inside to read Harry Potter? Awesome. Do you think you can handle the next step? Well, depending on what the next step is, right? So if I wrote 2 times the square root of 25, what is the square root of 25? And so what would we do with this 2 out front? Is this 2 times the square root of 25? So would it be 2 times 5? Which is magic. Alright, what if I gave you 3 times the square root of 52? What is the biggest perfect square that divides into 52? It's not a perfect square. It's not a perfect square. Remember our list that we wrote down yesterday, guys? Let's go back to that. Or find our... Alright, do 52 divided by 49. Tell me what you get. So that doesn't work. Let's go smaller. That's a great way to practice, though. 4? Awesome. 4 and what? 13. Perfect. Alright, so what's the square root of 4? What are we going to do with the 2 and this 3? Multiply them. Good. And you get 6 root 13. Boom. That's it. That's all you do. Do you think you can handle letters? Does anybody have a question on this one? Please speak now. Forever hold your peace. Because it's 3 times the square root of 52. So when you bring that 2 to the outside, you have to multiply it by what's out there. Because if we just had 52, correct? If we just had that, it would become 2 root 13. So that's 2 times the square root of 13. So you'd have to multiply the 2 and the 3. That's a good question. All right, are we ready to try some letters? Okay, don't be afraid. All right, so we have the square root of 28 a squared b cubed. Now, I'm going to teach you two different ways to do this. We're going to do this first problem one way, and then we're going to do the second problem another, and you decide which method you like best. Okay? First, let's break down 28. What's the biggest perfect square that goes into 28? 9 doesn't divide into 28. So 4 is the biggest perfect square, which gives you 7. Now we need two of the same number, so that's 2 and 2, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So oh, okay.
I was, yeah.
I was like, yes, I'm positive that 4 is broken down into 2 and 2. I don't know why you're questioning me on that one. Okay, so we have two of the same number. So that 2 goes outside. What stays inside to read Harry Potter at the moment? 7. Okay, now let's look at our letters because this is where the fun begins. How many A's do we have with A squared? 2. And we need 2 of the same letter, correct? So how many of the A's are going to go outside to read? 1 of them. Do any stay inside to read? No, because we have 2. Alright, let's look at B cubed, and I'm going to bring it down here and split it. How many B's do we have? 1, 2, 3. And how many do we need since it's a square root? 2. So I didn't mean to circle that one. Pretend it's not circled. So we have 2 B's. That means 1 is going to go outside. And how many stay inside to read Harry Potter? 1. Dun, 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 dun. Is it super scary? No, it's not. Okay. You want to go crazy for the next one? Sure. All right. Let's do 75 q to the 6th r cubed s to the 5th. Now, the first way we wrote it all out and we circled our B's and A's, correct? This way we're going to do it a little, I feel it's a little easier, but I know how to divide because I'm a capable human. S to the 5th. Alright, so 75. What's the biggest perfect square that goes into 75? 25. And you get 25 and 3. So we know that 25 is 5. That goes outside. 3 stays inside, correct? Alright, now what's the index of this square root? 2, because it's not written, so it's 2. 2 goes into 6 how many times? So you're going to have 3 Q's. Alright, 2 goes into 3 how many times? 1 with how many left over? So that one stays inside. 2 goes into 5 how many times? With how many left over? And you're done. So you can either break down your A's and B or any of your variables step by step, or you can divide. So let's make a note that says this is the breakdown method. This is the divide method. Divide exponents and index. Alright, do you think you can break cube roots, or do you want to practice this on mazes? You want to practice? Okay, let's practice, and then we'll move to cube roots. So you're going to have 2 mazes. One is going to be without letters, and one is going to be with letters. How about that?
Okay.
Alright, so my first, third, and fifth column are all my counting numbers, and then the pink are the perfect squares. So what it's saying is that the square root of 4 is 2, the square root of 9 is 3, so you go backwards. And you can do yours in 2 different colors, that might help.